Reality recap.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I know you have the reunion. Yes, we have 2 more episodes. And then we have the reunion, of course.
I look like a slave. I look like a mom. She was like, you the one that look like you got a high body count hair. I fell the fuck out, y'all.
Candace, has Deborah reached out to you to apologize after the episode aired showing Chris did not flirt with her?
She wouldn't dare. She would get eaten for breakfast.
Oh boy.
No, she's doubling down.
Why would you go meet with Ray J without talking to Princess or letting her know why? Like, she's trying to justify that she told her after the fact and not supposed to make it.
What do you think of your ex-husband Jim coming out and saying you did not try to stop him from suing Shannon and Tamara?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, if his memory is a little foggy about what transpired back then, that's okay. However, he did admit that I had nothing to do with the...
Reality recap. Reality recap.
What's up, y'all? Happy hump day. It is your girl V with Reality Recap here for another live Tea Talk session. We are streaming live across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The chats are open. We are here to talk about last night's episode of Love Hiphop Atlanta. Before we get started, let's pay the bills, honey. Let's get to the business. Make sure that you like this video, hit those thumbs up, hit those hearts. We are streaming live again across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Chats are open, so please comment. Let me know your thoughts on the episode as I give you my unsolicited thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel coming across the screen, Reality Recap 2876, so you can get a glimpse into all of my recaps for all the trending reality TV shows, pre-recorded and live, are all housed on my YouTube channel. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at what you see right here and across my lovely neon scene. A sign is reality_recap for all the trending reality news. All right, so let's get into it. I always give you guys the episode information. So this was episode 7 that aired last night, the 19th of Love and Hip Hop ATL. I have thoughts. Let's get into them. Let me go to my notes. So a few storylines right now that I'm really not, it's not much going on and I'm not really into. So I know we have Remy floating through and having conversation with Queen Key. They do a meetup. She's saying how things are complicated with her baby dad, who we already saw their public spat all over social media about a song that was released by her ex-boyfriend, and her baby daddy accusing her of cheating, her, saying he's the one cheating. So a whole public spat, but they're trying to figure it out. And they talk about that. And Queen Key also is looking to do what she called episodes. So she's going to have a studio session later in the episode where she wants Salma, the other new castmate, and Erica Banks, who we saw had a little, beef argument in previous episodes where Salma wanted to do a song with Erica Banks. Erica Banks was a bit snooty, and saying how, I don't like your style. I'd rather do a song with Queen Key instead of you. And the beef started there. They threw some low blows, some jabs at each other. So Queen Key is trying to capitalize on that with this episode studio session where they probably, lay down a couple tracks, a little dish track, couple shots taken. So she's trying to get that put together. Salma and Jock go on a double date. And Jock is contemplating getting his brother out of jail. We know from previous episodes as well that unfortunately, Jock's brother, he lost 3 of his children, young children, in a fire in their home. It was based on the news article we read on here. It was an electrical fire. He almost lost his life trying to save them. He wasn't originally charged, but after the deaths, about 12 days later, he was arrested and charged with child neglect. And I forgot, was it 3 or 4 children that passed away? I forget. I apologize. But he basically had a bail hearing. He was granted bail, but it's $100,000 per kid. So yeah, I think it was 3 children because it's up to 300,000. So not sure if Atlanta has the whole 10% bail rule. I know in Jersey we don't, but Jock talked about contemplating getting him out, and Kendra saying, this could be a very costly bail bond that they're going to have, a bail's bond that they're going to have to pay, and they hope that his brother realizes the amount of money that they have to put up when Jock has 10 million kids of his own. He's not out making platinum hits like that. He's working at the radio station and things like that. So it's a large amount of money, and probably some of it coming out of Kendra's pocket. So they just hoping that he understands that he does right, abide by his court dates, and on top of that, he's gonna need a lawyer. They talked about letting him use a public defender just to do the bail hearing. But, if he has to fight these charges, he is going to need a really good lawyer. So on top of the bail, that comes into play. But, they're going to double date. He talks about that. And also they talk about Jock wanting to do an album. He's stepping into Spice's lane and wanting to do some type of cast album, but I'm not gonna say that he's trying to only work with the talented people, but he's feeling like he could probably come up with a better cast album than that one diss track that Spice did. So he's trying to do that, but Sama and Erica have this beef, so they don't really know how that's gonna play out. What's Salma's boyfriend name? Is it 24 hours, 48 hours? I don't know him like that, but I was trying to figure out, he talked about Zane's song release or album release party, and he told me something. Yeah, I saw y'all over there talking to Menendez. Talking about Mandisi's. Like, why do you call that man Menendez? But I'm the same with his name. Are you 24 hours, 48 hours? 72 hours. I don't know. Y'all know Salma's man on the show. He called him Menendez. I just thought that was hilarious. But Jock talks to him about the beef between Rashida and Kirk and Menendez, Mandisi's and Yandy, and how he was thoroughly offended at how many times in the last couple of episodes, and they even did a little count of Mandisi saying the peen word. Like, he worried about my peen. He worried about where I'm sticking my peen. He's a peen investigator. So he was saying he was slightly offended by that. But yeah, Mandisi's is talking a lot more this season than he normally does, which is very telling, to say the least. Spice pulls up on Scrap. He's doing his little performance practice. She pulls up and tells him she wants him to be a part of an upcoming concert she has. And she talks to him about inviting Yandy and Rashida. Like, she's trying to take a page out of Rashida's book of inviting everybody and including everybody. So she's going to have both of them at her concert. And she also invited Mama D, gave her a backstage pass. So y'all know she gonna be in the building. And we then see Ashley, Kendra, and Bam meet up. Ashley talks about Zane giving his family money, but I was also talking about, I mean, they are married, but I wonder if he paid for her face fillers and stuff. But she counting his pockets and wanting to know, because I don't know what she does for a living. I can't say she count her pockets. Maybe she's contributing something that we just don't know, that or is not being showcased on the show. But she is counting Zane's pocket and does not like that he gives money to his family, especially his mother, without him talking to her about it. Rightfully so, right? I don't know if she would say, no, you can't do it, or have her reasonings why not. But, she says they have 4 children. They're trying to make sure they have college funds and have money. And she doesn't like that he so freely always has his hand out to give to his family when they're in need. And they're married. So I agree. It should be a conversation before he's giving money out to his mom and other family members. They talk about that. And then Ashley is one that she loves to sneak in the mess. She's gonna ask the questions So I don't really care for her storyline until last night when she got into that argument with Zane's mother. It was like finally an interesting part of their storyline. I have not been interested in the whole Zane getting kicked out the house and bringing a violinist to the front door to serenade her to get back home and all of that foolishness, because she knows she wasn't going to leave him. But it's starting to become an interesting storyline. But she gives kudos to Bambi, saying, at least Mama D is always present in the kid's life. And, I saw the christening that she did and Bambi apparently was under the impression that the christening that Mama D had a few episodes back was just for Scrap's newest son with Shakira. But come to find out, Ashley's like, no, all the kids got christened, and Bambi was taken aback by that and asked her to call Zane to verify. And Zane said, yeah, everybody got christened except for his oldest daughter, Amani. So Bambi was, y'all let me know y'all thoughts, but rightfully so. She should be upset about that. Even if she wasn't going to be in attendance, or she was going to do a separate christening, since they're already doing separate birthday parties and holidays and etc., you christening someone's children that you have with them without their knowledge is a bit wild to me. Like, that's a conversation you want to have about. I don't think it would have been any conflict of religion. I think they both follow the same religion, but it was more so of including Bambi if she wanted to show up, or just letting her know that this is what's happening with her children that she has with you. And the fact that he didn't really seem to upset her. And like I said, rightfully so, I would be upset as well. And she feels like it's something Scrap is doing to try to get under her skin, to get a reaction out of her. But she says, something that they're going to have to deal with. So yeah, I just thought that was crazy. What else in that conversation? I just felt like Ashley, she brought up the questions to Spice about the mother sucker, or go suck your mother comment. She brought up to Yandy about what was going on in the blogs. She's that one that may not have the best storyline, but she like, I'm gonna get my check. I'm gonna be a part of these conversations and ask the questions that people want to know. So I appreciate her for that. She's doing her part. She's earning her keep. So yeah. She also talked about in that conversation, which I don't think it was her place to bring that up, because Zane hadn't brought it up on the show unless it was edited out. But she talked about how Zane has located his biological father, that his mom has no idea that she all this time has been making him think that, the father that we saw at his album release party was his biological father, and he's actually found his real dad. So she's keeping that in her back pocket, and that comes up later in the episode. We'll talk about it. But the fact that she shared that there's supposed to be a marriage and a union. To share that was a bit crazy to me, and to bring that up on national TV, if that's Zane's story to tell, if you ask me. But she brought it up. That's why I said, you got to watch her, boy. She gonna earn her keep and try to stay on this show. But yeah, she definitely brought that up, and I just totally felt like it wasn't her place. Queen Key sets up her episode studio session that we talked about. Erica didn't show up. She said she had food poisoning. I didn't believe that. Salma thought that she didn't come because she was there. And I believe that's the case. She doesn't like her. They had their beef back and forth, and she didn't show up. But she's talking about she was going to send a video of herself throwing up, talking about since she had food poisoning. I don't believe that at all. I really don't. We then see Bam and Zell. I've missed Zell. We haven't seen him much this season, but my nose is running, y'all. I'm sorry to be sniffling in y'all faces. But Zell shows up, and Bambi's telling him about Scrap having his christening, and he cracks me up. He's like, christening like by Jesus? That cracked me up. And she's like, yeah, he had a christening without my knowledge. And of course, he's in support of his friend and saying that's not cool. But yeah, from there they get to talking about Ray Face, and Bambi saying she has cold feet and that there's a woman reaching out to her, sending her paragraphs on top of paragraphs saying how she used to be in a relationship with Ray. They were dating, sleeping with each other no more than just a month ago. And it's making her feel uneasy. And Zell shares that, listen, I'm your friend. I was in support of your relationship. I do think you're moving a bit fast. But this woman has also reached out to Zell as well. And he in his confessional says, like, listen, the street's saying that he's sleeping around. He's sending out explicit pictures. And Zell don't never miss with the tea. Whatever he be saying, 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10 from what we've seen on the show is usually true. So she might want to take heed to that. What I don't understand though is why, Bambi's mentioning how she feels like things are moving fast. They're about to have an engagement party. They're already planning the wedding. They've only been engaged for a short time. Hell, they've only been dating a short time. I told you guys I was leery of Ray, feeling like, he has a rap career. This was just an opportunity for him to further his rap career or get his name out there. And I really feel like he only proposed because she wasn't sleeping with him. And we see that what men will do and say whatever they need to say to get the draws, and then they switch up. And that's what he's doing. Like, they're engaged, probably done slept together now. We don't know that for sure, but I'm sure they probably have. And now he's barely answering her phone calls, or he's real nonchalant when they're upset. When she gets upset, he ups and goes to Houston, which ironically is where he is alleged to have a wife and children. That was the word on the street, allegedly. So it was just ironic that that's where he would fly up and leave whenever they would have an argument. So back to what I was saying about what I don't understand is, she's first using the engagement period to see how the relationship goes and says that, oh, if it's not going the way that I want, I just won't get married. And then she's saying, well, I'm going to use the engagement party to gauge the relationship and go from there. Why are we using an engagement or an engagement party to gauge a relationship? How about you just date him for a longer period of time? How about you just casually date before you get so serious in this relationship? And now you're not sure. I don't understand why we have to gauge a relationship by an engagement party. That makes absolutely no sense to me. And it's not a flex that, even when she was talking to Rashida and Kirk in the previous episode saying, like, every man I date want to marry me. That's not a flex, especially if you're not staying married or you're calling off engagements. That's not a flex. Just date him and see, is he someone for you? But don't close off all opportunities to other people that could possibly want to date you for this guy that you're not sure about, and hearing all these things in your DMs and out in the streets. Just why would you do that? But to each his own. I just thought that was very confusing that she wants to use the engagement to kind of see how things are going and go from there. But we'll see in the upcoming episode, because it looks like this is where it's going to get pretty fiery. And we see what unfolded that I reported on. That's why you guys have to follow me, reality_recap on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. But I reported when there was this event, which is this engagement party that we're going to see in the upcoming episode, where there was an altercation between Ray and Zell. And Ray spoke out about that on live. I posted that for you guys too. So we're going to start to get into that altercation in the next episode. But it didn't seem from this episode like Zell threw Ray under the bus or came over there trying to be messy. Bambi confided in him, and he said, he confirmed that, hey, this lady reached out to me too, but I was, trying to be supportive. You seemed happy. So it wasn't like he was trying to be this messy person that Ray is saying in his live when he talked about the situation, saying that Zell was trying to come in between his relationship. He even accused Zell of wanting Bambi. And I just think they're really good friends. I don't see that he's like trying to take Bambi from Ray. That's just some foolishness he coming up with because he doing some nonsense. But yeah, Bambi's saying that Ray told, she talked to Ray about this girl in the DMs, and that he's saying that, it's an old relationship. The girl just mad and jealous that's what they always say. It's always the girl's crazy. Like, no, what are you saying to her? And how long ago was this actually? But they just don't be crazy. Girls just don't go crazy. Some of them do. Let me not say all of them, but girls just don't go crazy out of nowhere like that. It's because of whatever you're saying and and doing with her. So we'll see more about that. So it's the night of Spice's concert. Mama D is there and she, comes across Kirk and Rashida in the hallway, and she spills some tea that Mandisi, she was out at a restaurant. She saw Mandisi's there with a woman, but there were other people at the table. So she said she gave him the benefit of the doubt. She went to the bathroom and came back and said that Mandisi's was feeding the woman from his fork, that they were all hugged up together. And Rashida said in her confessional, this ain't nothing new, that he's been out in the open, seen around town in Atlanta with other women. And this is exactly what Ciara came out, right? Ciara came out about a week ago saying she got into some type of altercation or argument at a restaurant because she ran into Mandisi's with a woman that she alleges is his mistress, and also says that her name is Angie, allegedly, and that this woman is allegedly married. So some similarities there, and just seeing him out and about with other women, where there's smoke there's fire. So hey, but 1 + 1 = 2. So it just seems like, I don't know if they have an open marriage or what, but it seems like they are more a business partnership at this point, and she says they're trying to work through it. Yandy, meaning, she says they're trying to work through it. Mandisi seems completely checked out to me, not wearing the ring. Even when they had the conversation about her emotionally cheating, he's like, well, I always love you, but we need to make a decision. It doesn't seem like a conversation of, I want this marriage, I want to fight for this marriage. He doesn't give that perception at all. Thank you for checking in on Instagram, Madison. It says Bambi, Carly, and Ciara know how to pick them. They sure do, don't they? Between the between the three of them, they got a whole football team of rings. They won a lot of Super Bowls, a lot of championship rings they got over there, and just can't seem to get it right. It's not a flex to be engaged a million times or married if it's not successful. So yeah, I don't know. I agree with you though. They sure know how to pick them, or don't. But who am I to judge? So yeah, Mama D spills the tea, and yeah, they're there. Yandy shows up at the concert. Rashida and Yandy have absolutely nothing to say to each other after saying so much in confessionals. Yandy is saying, like, I wonder if Rashida gonna have that same energy she have in her confessionals and talking to everybody else. How about you too? You and your husband be talking shit too. So why don't y'all both have that energy? But they say absolutely nothing to each other at the concert. Rashida sneaks out and texts Spice saying that, she's leaving, and she's again shading Yandy in her confessional, saying how, yeah, I don't want to smell no stank breath or no stank booty cheeks that smell like a bad BBL, but won't say none of that to her face. So she exits left, and they don't run into each other at all. But Spice and Yandy talk, and Yandy is upset about the podcast that Rashida and Kirk did, where they're alluding to the fact that Mandisi cheats, that there's alleged videos out there, and all the stuff that everybody else is saying. I don't know why she's so, well, I guess because they're supposed to be, or was supposed to be, her friends. And she says when she does interviews, she keeps it cute on mute and doesn't speak on it, or skips over it. So she's upset about that. And she alludes to the fact that Rashida and Jasmine, who is Kirk's side baby mama, are closer than we think they are. And we see that in the preview of the upcoming episode, where Yandy's trying to out Jasmine for being in some type of polygamous relationship with Rashida and Kirk. And she's like, go ahead, girl, just talk about it. The cameras already know this. They already aware. So you might as well just say it. Don't worry about the camera. So we'll see more about what that is all about in the upcoming episode. But I'm seated. I want to know what they talking about. But I feel like that's what Yandy's trying to allude to and set that up for the next episode. Then we get to the juiciest part of the episode. Zane brings Ashley and his mom together. They tried to speak briefly at Zane's listening party where they feel, Ashley feels like his mother disrespects her, treats her like she's like a here today, gone tomorrow type chick when they've been together for 12 years, married for 6. And she feels like, put some respect on my name. I ain't going nowhere. I'm his wife. You need to respect me as such. And they sit down to have a conversation. And Zane walks off and they get to talking. And Ashley brings up how Zane doesn't talk to her, or that, they ask for money and it's not a discussion with her, or that they don't ask him and her and Zane. It's more of a straight conversation with Zane and they get whatever they want. And Zane mama make it really clear, like, I'm not going to ask you for anything. I don't have to ask you. She doesn't respect him, respect Ashley as his wife. And Ashley makes the comment of, you won't get no more money. And Zane mama started laughing, cracking up, saying, how you gonna do that? You think you're gonna stop that? Do you know about my unlimited debit card that I can use whenever I want? And Ashley's stunned because she knew absolutely nothing about that. Is that absolutely wrong? Yes, they're married. It should be a communication. You cannot just give out credit cards to your family or bank cards and your wife not be aware of it. That's crazy to me. But Ashley should take that up with Zane, right? He's your husband. He's the one not telling you what's going on, and you need to take it up. But she fell into the trap. And I think that she was completely out of line. You guys tell me if you feel like Ashley was out of line or not, but I felt like she was, where she's like, oh, you think you're going to tell me stuff I don't know? Well, she basically like, well, watch this. Well, I know about Zane's biological father. I've been talking to the Comans and I know that you've been lying. And that set his mama off. Like, she starts spilling all the tea. Like, she starts saying, Ashley got 2 babies by 2 different men. You left them with their fathers to chase after my son. And that's why your oldest daughter hates your guts. Like, she spilled it all. I said, see what happens? And I don't know if Zane's mother called Ashley a shitty mom, but she kind of was like, yeah, I'm a shitty mom. I can admit it. At least I told my children the truth, and they are able to see their father, their biological father. I'm not shutting them out of their lives. So they throwing jabs at each other. Zane is in the middle. Like, what did you say to her? Mom, why would you tell her that? Why would you say that why did you tell her about my father? I just thought it was completely out of line. It's still your husband's mother. There has to be some respect there. But you should have brought Zane. I would have ushered his ass back in there when she said that she had an unlimited bank card. I just think that she took it too far, not only to bring up something so deep and personal, but to do it on national TV and be respectful on top of that just wasn't the way for me. Like, I'm just not into disrespecting moms, like, mother-in-law or not. I know they can be rude. I know they can be out of pocket sometimes, but it's still your husband's mother. So I don't know. We'll see how they even move forward with this. I don't see how, when you spill that type of tea, both of them at this point, it was just a whole disrespectful mess. But I was saying, okay, this storyline is starting to get a bit interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I am getting tired of the whole Love and Hip Hop, overbearing mothers. We've had that a million times before. We've seen that with Jim Jones, with Scrappy. We've seen that with the other Scraps mom, Kay. We've seen this a few times on the show. That is getting tired, but at least it gave a little oomph to Zane and Ashley's storyline. You guys have been commenting all day on the post I put up this morning, the clip of the episode, giving your thoughts on if some of you didn't think Ashley was disrespectful. Some of you thought she was. Some of you said both of them was out of pocket. And I can agree with that as well. We respect all opinions over here, as long as you respect mine. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it definitely looks like the next episode is going to get juicy. Again, we're going to get into Bambi's engagement party and the altercation with Zell and Ray Face. We're going to get into this whole, is Jasmine going to come clean about being in a polygamous relationship with Rashida and Kirk? There's a lot coming. I do have a clip for you guys that I'm going to post right after this episode ends. We have a little small snippet or mid-season trailer of what's still to come this season on Love and Hip Hop ATL. So I have that coming for you right after this. So y'all, again, make sure you're following me, reality_recap on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The link is in my bio for my YouTube channel, and it's coming across the screen. Reality Recap 2876 is how you find me on YouTube. So please, guys, like this video, hit the thumbs up, hit the hearts, like, share, subscribe, so you see all my pre-recorded recaps as well as my live recaps. If you missed any of them or missed any portion of this one, they are all on my YouTube channel. So I'm recapping all trending shows: Real Housewives of Miami, Real Housewives of OC, Love and Marriage, Huntsville, which I just put up an episode earlier today of the latest episode of that, Life After Lockup, all the shows. I am definitely recapping them for you. So I love when you guys join, interact, watch, like, and share. I appreciate you. All right. So keep it locked. Make sure you set your alerts. I have more recaps coming for you this week of Real Housewives in Miami and OC, Life After Lockup, all of those good things. So set your alerts and make sure that you watch those videos, please. Let's get those views up. Run them numbers up for your girl. I appreciate you. Now, before I get out of here, as I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all hump day. Week's almost over. We're almost there, y'all. It's V Reality Recap. Have a good night. Peace.